personally, I've really only known Ronnie Cox to be a villain growing up. I think like Deliverance and Bogomil, like I just mentioned in the Beverly Hills Cop films. Other than those movies, like I really just recall him being just a shitty person in wherever he's in. I could be wrong. Maybe I haven't seen enough Ronnie Cox films in my lifetime, but yeah. Otherwise, we're also introduced to, like I said, Miguel Ferrer, Ronnie Cox, Dan O'Herlihy as the old man, the chief executive of OCP. Now, we've talked about Dan O'Herlihy before on the show. He was, of course, the toy maker in Halloween 3 Season of the Witch as Connell Cochran. And he was also in The Last Starfighter, but we have not, unfortunately, talked about that movie yet. I do have it on my master list because I'm a big fan of that movie. I think it's one of Nick Castle's more underappreciated films. Nick Castle, of course, is the Shape from the original Halloween. Went on to be a director. He directed such films as Last Starfighter, Boy Who Could Fly, Major Payne, and Dennis the Menace. Remember that one?
I fucking forgot he directed Dennis the Menace. Wow.
Menace.
I like that movie.
I do too.
I legit like that movie, Dennis the Menace.
I haven't seen it in a couple years.
It's
been about 4 or 5 years since I watched it, but I've never been mad at it. I saw it in the theaters twice. So, the things you do in 93 when you're fucking 9 years old and you want to go see Dennis the Menace.
Well, that was the age of the old sitcom remakes,
I know.
So, yeah.
And Felton Perry as OCP employee Donald Johnson, who
I've always loved Felton Perry.
Is the only person who's in all 3 movies.
And that's pretty much
other than Nancy Allen, of course, but yeah.
I think other than like a Dirty Hair movie, I don't know what else he was even in. Felton Perry. This is the only thing I remember him from is the RoboCop
Sergeant
movies.
Reed also in all 3 movies. No, I was gonna say Felton Perry was also in Dumb and Dumber, and he was also in.
Who was he in Dumb and Dumber? I'm not thinking. He's not popping into my head.
One of the detectives on the case. He's it's him and a young white kid.
I don't know why I'm blanking on that. I do not remember him in that movie. Wow, I got to rewatch that now.
And then he was in Puppet Master 4. I don't have a joke for that.
I'm not ashamed of not remembering that fucking movie. Is that the one where they start turning good or whatever, and they start fighting demons
because
from
4
hell?
and 5 are filmed back to back. They're like a 2-part movie almost. 4 and 5. They're like.
I remember you and I were like so excited for those movies because we thought it was so cool. The puppets were good
because they were fighting other puppets in those movies. It was just them versus whatever the evil puppets were called. They had a name, but they were facing them.
Satan sends back these little demons that are like 2 feet or 2 inches tall. That's his plan. Yeah, I love that.
And he was also the deputy in Walking Tall, the original Walking Tall. Kids, not that Johnny Knoxville The Rock remake from 2004.
Hey, that's not a bad one either.
It's not.
I like both Walking Talls, honestly. They're both good.
I do too. So, he's him, not the old man, because old man's not in part 3. But yeah, Felton Perry, Nancy Allen, and Robert Doakey plays Sergeant Reed. Those, to my knowledge, are the only 3 actors who are in all of the movies. So.
Yeah, I think you're right, unless it's like a random extra or something like that. I think as far as like the feature roles, I think as far as featured roles, I think you're right. I don't think anybody else was in all 3.
So at this meeting, we're also, as the viewer, introduced to OCP. They're a mega corporation who the city hires to oversee the police force as they're about to begin construction on this project that they're calling Delta City. Delta City is like this futuristic city that they're building pretty much in Detroit. They're going to, I guess, rename it. I think that's their game plan. And like I said, this is a project that's going to be spread throughout all the movies. Although, it kind of takes a back seat in Robocop 2. I think Delta City's mentioned like once or twice in the sequel. But part 3, they really drive that one home because it's all about that the construction that they tease in this film. The actual construction takes place in part 3, And that's pretty much what the plot's around.
Now that we're talking about this, and I'm thinking about part 3, is that the one where RoboCop is in the fucking like lowrider and the roof gets ripped off and he's driving it? Yes, that was the only good part in that movie. That was
Takes it from a pimp. That's right. And
a pimp mobile. That was it. That's the only good part.
And because he faces the splatterpunks. Remember that?
Yeah, and honestly, that's not a bad concept if it was actually done well. I don't have a problem with the whole splatterpunks thing. I don't know, the whole thing. The guy, I forget the guy's name who was in 3, but that played RoboCop, but he wasn't any good. And yeah, nothing against the actor, but it was bad. It was bad.
Yeah, Robert John Burke. He was he went on to be Tommy Gavin's cousin in Rescue Me.
I literally never wanted to punch him in its face more than I had last night.
Definitely worth your time. It's definitely worth revisiting.
15 minutes in, I'm like, Dorothy, we're not in Oakland anymore.
It's in 4K, buddy. Check it out.
They were kind of like an afternoon, drive time type thing. Or like the type of podcast you listen to at work.